Meet Mr. Dawes, the multi-billionaire with a heart as cold as the ice in his whiskey. This man, infamous for his cruelty, was no stranger to stepping on others to climb the ladder of success. Mr. Dawes was a titan in the world of business, with ventures spanning across multiple industries. Yet his ruthless tactics left a trail of resentment and bitterness in his wake. Now imagine a man of such stature, lying lifeless in his opulent mansion. The news of his untimely demise sent shockwaves through the town. The circumstances of his death, shrouded in mystery, left a chilling afterthought. His body was found in his study, with no signs of a break-in or struggle. It seemed as though Mr. Dawes, the iron-fisted mogul, had met his match. But who could want such a man dead? Let's delve into the mysteries surrounding Mr. Dawes' demise. First on our suspect list is Mary, a woman with a decade-old grudge. Mary, once a cheerful and ambitious woman, had her life take a bitter turn 10 years ago, all thanks to our victim, Mr. Dawes. Dawes, who was nothing if not cunning, discovered a secret about Mary, a secret that could ruin her reputation and the life she was building. Seeing an opportunity for his own gain, he chose to exploit it, blackmailing Mary into submission. Mary's dreams were shattered. The vibrant woman she once was turned into a shadow of her former self, living in constant fear and humiliation. A life that should have been filled with joy and success was replaced by despair and regret. The once radiant smile rarely found its way to her face as the bitterness of her predicament consumed her. The question now arises, did Mary's decade-old resentment towards Mr. Dawes develop into a murderous rage? It's not hard to imagine that the woman who had her life ruined by Dawes might have a strong motive to put an end to her tormentor. After all, her torment ended only with Dawes' death. Could Mary's thirst for revenge have driven her to murder? Mary, the first suspect, the blackmailed woman, might just be more than a victim in this twisted tale. Could she have taken the law into her own hands to seek the justice she was denied for so long? We continue our search for the truth in this labyrinth of deception and revenge. Next, we have John, an old business partner who was cheated by Mr. Dawes. John and Mr. Dawes, once as close as brothers, found their friendship tested in the crucible of business. Their partnership began in the early 90s with a shared dream of building a tech empire. Together they toiled and triumphed, their company prospering under their combined efforts. However, as the company's value skyrocketed, so did Mr. Dawes' greed. He began to see John not as a partner but as an obstacle. The tipping point arrived when Mr. Dawes orchestrated a cunning scheme, cheating John out of his rightful share of the company's stocks. John, once a co-owner, was reduced to a mere employee overnight. His dreams shattered, his trust betrayed, yet he remained within the company, a silent spectator to Mr. Dawes' growing empire. His motive for murder, years of resentment, a desire for revenge, and the bitter taste of betrayal. Yet, on the night of the murder, John was reportedly at a charity event, surrounded by hundreds of potential witnesses. But could this alibi just be a clever ruse? Could he have hired someone to do his dirty work while he played the saint in public? After all, he had everything to gain from Mr. Dawes' demise. Did John's resentment towards Mr. Dawes push him over the edge? The answer is shrouded in mystery, as our tale continues. Finally, we meet Chris, the man who was falsely accused and arrested due to Mr. Dawes. Chris, a brilliant inventor, had always been a beacon of innovation. His genius, however, became his downfall when he crossed paths with the ruthless Mr. Dawes. Chris had designed a groundbreaking technology, something that could change the world as we know it. But in a world where power and wealth rule, his invention caught the eye of Mr. Dawes, who saw it as a golden opportunity to increase his fortune. In a vile act of greed, Mr. Dawes accused Chris of stealing his company's patents, an accusation so severe that it led to Chris's immediate arrest. The trial was a spectacle, a media circus. With Mr. Dawes' influence and resources against him, Chris stood no chance. The verdict came down like a hammer blow. Guilty. Chris was sentenced to a decade in prison, his reputation shattered and his life's work claimed by another. Behind the iron bars, Chris was consumed by a burning sense of injustice. Each passing day, each echoing clank of the cell door was a cruel reminder of the life stolen from him. His brilliant mind, once filled with ideas and inventions, was now clouded with thoughts of revenge. The man who had everything taken away from him had nothing left to lose. Upon his release, Chris found himself in a world that had moved on without him. His name was forgotten, his inventions credited to another. Yet his resolve remained unshaken. He was determined to reclaim his tarnished reputation and lost years. But would he go as far as murder? Could the man of intellect and invention, the man wronged by the cruel hand of fate, be driven to such an extreme? Could the pain of his lost years and the desire for vengeance lead him to take the life of the man who had ruined his? Could Chris have killed Mr. Dawes to reclaim his tarnished reputation and lost years? As we delve deeper into this mystery, the answer seems to be as elusive as ever. 3 suspects, each with a motive strong enough to kill. As we delve deeper into the enigma surrounding Mr. Dawes' untimely demise, we find ourselves tangled in a web of deceit, revenge, and betrayal. First, there's Mary, a woman wronged a decade ago, subjected to unrelenting blackmail by Dawes. Her motive? To finally free herself from the shackles of her past. Then we have John, a former business partner who found himself on the losing end of a shrewd corporate chess game. His motive? Perhaps to reclaim the wealth and honor that was stripped from him. And finally there's Chris, a man whose life was turned upside down by false accusations, landing him behind bars. His motive? To seek retribution for the years he lost. Each of these individuals had reasons to wish ill upon Mr. Dawes, but who among them had the resolve to act on their grudge? So, who killed Mr. Dawes? That's a mystery we'll unravel in the next video. Until then, keep guessing.